Welcome to a little follow-up video. Well, I normally don't do that many follow-up videos, but remember this the previous video about this Philips generator ended with this socket for this ECH42 is completely broken, and there's no way I can fix the socket. So I took it out and I put in a new one. So here's the new sexy socket, and look at that. It looks absolutely fantastic. If I pull the tube here from the old socket, you will see this thing here, this locking mechanism for this little dot in the glass. This is the rimlock socket system. And then we got 8 pins in a nice round shape. There isn't any missing pins or anything like that. And this is exactly the same in my new socket. Also, this diameter here and this little locker thing is exactly the same thing. And also the 2 pins on each side of the little locking, that is also exactly the same in my new socket. So I didn't verify this tube actually fit this socket. I just assumed it would be right. We got 8 pins in here as well. So I mean, what can possibly go wrong? But you are going to, I don't know if you're gonna laugh or cry together with me. I hope you're gonna cry a little bit together with me. So I removed this little spring, and this is the little locking. Oops, sorry about that. And that makes the tube goes, see, without any click here, directly down to all the little socket holes. And then by looking through the little holes here and with flashlights shining lights in those holes, I can actually see the pins do not reach the holes of any of the 8 sockets. They are all further out. So that means either this socket is from another planet, or there is like more than one system of 8-pin rim locks with exactly the same measurements of everything else except the diameter of the pins, or this ring placement diameter. So what the heck? I did not know that, because rim lock is just not a thing that I spend a whole lot of brain power investigating. But now I know a lot more about rim locks, and you can, you want to see what else I did. Yeah, the getting this damn socket out, I mean, this screw here was of course easy because the angle here is okay, but the other screw in here is impossible to reach. And this is welded together with that one. This plate is welded together, so there's no way I can access this screw. So it took me way too long to get the 2 screws out, and then I decided, hey, how about I just drill out the threads and then put a knot here, and I can easily hold a knot with my knot holding tools and spanners and whatnot. And then this is definitely the way to mount the new socket. And here we see a nice picture of the new socket I mounted. I spent so much time making everything here perfect with all the wires, and I took a lot of photos of the old one and the new one. So, this is all going to be so nice and perfect. What a dummy. Why the heck didn't I figure out the tube didn't fit the socket, man? I really want to go cry. So maybe it's me who's just lucky or undereducated in the rim lock standards. So I went through my boxes of rimlock tubes. So this is just another random rimlock. And this is what I would call a rimlock tube, right? And they exist in metal base or glass base. And this is, of course, still a rimlock tube. So if I take the old socket, click, perfect, perfect. And this is also the same pin measurements. So there are different ways to measure this. If you do it like this, it's easier to measure, but as you can of course see, you're not getting the correct circle diameter. So what you need to do is you need to turn it like this and get the maximum number. So this is 12.6. To get the pin center diameter, you need to subtract 1 millimeter because the pin is 1 millimeter thick. So it's a half a pin on each side. So that means you have 11.65 or something like that. With this one, that is the circle diameter. And here it is 11.56. So I bet it is 11.6. I just need to aim for. So how do I measure this with this socket? Because I mounted the socket, but I need to accept the fact that this socket is not going to work because it does not fit any of my tubes no matter what. And I have to take it out anyway. Maybe I am able to measure this and try and understand the rimlock measurements and what is going on. So that is what I plan to do, because this is useless the way it is. So to try and get to the bottom of this, I think I need to show a few things. So this is the original socket and the original tube. Of course, I cleaned the pins perfectly fine. Click. All right, so let me see if I can show this. Oh, this is fine. Oh, this is very, very loose. This is okay. Yeah, here we go. See? Dingly, dingly, dingly. It's not touching anything. See? This is not how it's supposed to be. Oh, oi, oi, oi. This is even worse. See? Completely. Of course this is not working. And this is also not. I mean, but I got some of them. That's quite good. And when I pull the tube and look through the holes here, I can actually see, I don't know how easy that is to see, but I can see some of them. They are really, really big. You can see all the way through. They need to go a little bit tight and kind of bite a little bit on the pins, which is also a little bit oval. Well, I just need to suck it up and stop crying about this. Remove the new wrong socket and make sure that I got all documentation perfectly fine. And then go and get a new socket somewhere. So now this wrong socket is out again. And let me try and visualize my problem. Of course, those pins, they are quite loose. So you see, they can move a little bit. All right. But they can't really move that much as I need. But the fun thing is, it looks a little bit like these metal pins in here. They are bent wrong because you can see the hole in here. Can you see it? This is where the hole is supposed to be, in there. But the sockets never go all the way in there. But if I measure the, I don't know, can I show this at the same time? So if this is the hole and this is the hole, maybe if I try and bend it in a little bit, it's still, and if I take, it was dirty, and this is my tube, can you see the problem? It is that far away from working. Really? What if I pull all these out at the same time as... This is not the right socket. There's no way. And I think it's just manufactured wrong. Because if I look at the holes, this is supposed to be the holes. This is a little bit interesting. Because here, look at that. The sensor and the sensor here is correct. Look at that. Yeah. Ha ha! It's a manufacturing error. They are never gonna get in there. Can you see the problem? They will never go all the way in there. No matter how I push. See? They need to be further in than what I'm doing here. Wow, this is crazy. So look at that. The ceramic socket is correctly made. So this is the hole for the tube pin. And here you go. You can easily see the pins, the hole in the pin, and no matter how much I push this way, I can't get it in. Is it the bend, or is it because of this metal? See, the metal here touches. No, it's also touching up there, right? But it's still far from the correct hole. Where the heck? So my idea is, I want to try and see if I can push out that pin and see if I can just fix one pin, because if I can fix one, then I can maybe also fix all 8 of them, right? So now I've removed all the pins and I put in the tube, and look at that. Tube pins, they're exactly in the center of the round thing here. So it has to be the pins that's completely wrong. So how do I make this bend? And I cannot do that because it's too close to that. Yeah. Not that easy. I just realized I got a few of these little boxes of those ITT Canon pins. So, look at that. They fit. Oh, the feeling is just wonderful. And they fit the 1mm pins on the tube sockets. And when I take this tube socket and stick in here, then my idea is and then epoxy the pins in like that, and then I get the most sexy socket you would ever imagine. I need to have it all the way. Okay, so this is how deep it should be. This is what we want, right? So what do you think about that? A little bit of epoxy, and it's looking real pretty. So Let's see, tomorrow I can maybe mount this and solder it. So now the epoxy is perfectly cured. And of course those pins are now fully locked to the position of the pins of this tube. So it works perfectly fine with that one. So now, where is it? Here we go. This is the one I want to use, really. And there is, of course, a tiny little pin tolerance. It still works. Now I can proceed with my project. What I really would have loved was a way to, have all the pins individually mounted so they can move a little bit. I should probably make a little circuit board where they are soldered and with little milled cuts or something so they can bend a little bit individually. That is a thing I maybe want to do in the future. So now I'll just tin all those pins and make them ready for my mounting. It is, yeah, okay, it is a little bit more tough with that one compared to, yeah, okay, this one goes quite loose because all the pins there are a little bit bent or whatever. So it worked perfectly fine with the installation of the new homemade socket. And now there is one lucky ending because I got both of the oscillators working nice and stable. And we got the nice amplitude and everything here is fine. So if we crank both of them down, we get a very low frequency. And the idea is you adjust to 0 here on this one. And then if we crank this up to like that. Look at that. We got almost, it's quite close. I really like when oscillators, they're a little bit accurate and all that. So now all I need to do is just remove the little rust and put on all the knobs, repair a few knobs, and and clean it up and assemble. So thank you very much for watching. See you. Bye bye.